Hey, so we've been talking about John 1:18 and a possible reading that it's kind of strange, or some people think it doesn't exist in there. In John 1:18, there's this phrase, "He himself God," or "He himself who is God," something like that. That is it's not an addition; it's a translator's clarification. The verse literally in the Greek New Testament says, "No one has ever seen God, the monogenes God, who is at the Father's side," so the one unique God who is at the Father's side or bosom, has made God known. So there's two people in this verse. No one has ever seen God, so that's God the Father. John typically uses the general theos to talk about God the Father, or the whole Godhead as a whole. In the context of the prologue, this is the last verse of the prologue of John's Gospel, he's definitely talking about the Father, because he even actually says the Father, the pater, at the end of this verse. So no one has ever seen God. So he's talking about God the Father, the person of God the Father. No one has ever seen him. And then it says this really strange word, the monogenes theos, the one unique God. Mono being one, genes, which is from genao, which is gene or kind, so one of a kind or one unique. So monogenes theos, which is God. Now there is a variant here in a couple of manuscripts that says monogenes huios, which is son, but pretty much all scholars have agreed that is a variant, that was something that changed from the original monogenes theos, because the majority of the manuscripts say one unique God, not one unique son. Now, John likes to use the title Son for Jesus, and so when you get some scribes sometime down throughout the history of the world, sometimes they change things when they want to, because they're like, that doesn't sound right, I'm going to change it. So they're like, the one unique God, that's weird, I'm going to change that to one unique Son. And that's how variants pop up, is because fallible men make decisions like that and aren't true to the text sometimes. So we have a couple of these variants pop up of one unique Son. One unique Son is not the original reading of that. It's one unique God, and the overwhelming majority of the manuscripts and scholarly consensus will show that. I even have my Greek Testament right here that I can pull up and show you, that says, I'm going to turn this around, it's kind of hard to see, and this is verse 18, monogenes in green, monogenes theos, which is God, not Son. Monogenes theos. Huios is Son. So anyway, so there's the first God, the first person in this clause is God the Father. And then it says, the one unique God who is at the Father's side. So there's a second person being spoken of right here. And it says the one unique God. So single God. So you can't say there's two gods in this clause. It's one single God. But no one has ever seen God the Father. But the one unique God has made God known, because he's in fellowship with the Father, or at his side, literally is what that says. And so the goal of putting in he himself God is to let you know that we're not speaking of two different gods here. We're speaking of two different persons, that John is writing of two different persons within the Godhead. The Father and the Son, who John has labored for 18 verses to tell you is God. So this satisfies that whole mystery of how can there be one single God, yet Jesus clearly be demonstrated to be God, yet separate from God the Father. Because they are two people, two persons, two minds within the Godhead. God is one being and three distinct persons. And this is one of the most clear claims to that no one has ever seen God the Father. The only one, the monogenes theos, the one unique, only God, who is at the Father's side, has made him known.